Hello there, I'm Ernest Minu. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, following the closure of the Techiman Central Market for 2 weeks as part of measures taken by authorities to curb the spread of the novel coronavirus, the Techiman Municipal Assembly has started a free distribution of nose masks to traders as market is being reopened to trading activities. This, according to authorities, will be followed by a rigorous enforcement of the wearing of face masks, where defaulters will be made to face tougher punishment. There's more in the following report.
To close down the Techiman Central Market because traders here continuously defied social distancing protocols. This, according to authorities, is to help prevent the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic within the municipality. Well, today, authorities are officially reopening the Techiman Central Market to trading activities, and this is being preceded with a free distribution of nose masks, thousands of nose masks, by city authorities led by the Techiman Municipal Chief Executive, Mr. John Kofi. He tells us why the Assembly have decided to freely distribute these nose masks.
We got to the point where it has come to notice that the wearing of masks, such a nose mask, will help a lot. So we are advocating for that. Looking at the Bono East region, we must ensure, because the influx of people into this market is so enormous. So if you relax and not enforce this protocol by asking people in their mass numbers to wear masks, things will not go down well for us. That's why Assembly has taken upon itself to distribute masks to the market women and the market folk.
The free distribution of the nose mask will be followed by a full enforcement of the law.
The leadership of the various group within this market, and we've told them that after the distribution, we are going to enforce the law strictly. We are going to put in task force, including the normal security people, to see to it that everybody wear masks before coming to this market.
We've been speaking to some of the traders, and they are full of praise to the city authorities for this gesture of freely distributing these nose masks to traders.
May God bless you for distributing this to some of us who have not bought them yet. This will help protect us from the virus. We are grateful for this because once we have them on, it will help in reducing the spread of the virus, even if we have some here.
They, however, appeal to colleague traders to ensure that they put on the nose masks, especially those who have them, but keep them in their bags and their packets, to use them in order to protect themselves and other traders from being infected with the COVID-19 pandemic.
Those who pick them and keep them in their packets are not helping us at all. So I'm pleading with them to use them in order to get ourselves protected. Though the market has been officially opened to trading activities, the market will be run on shift system until further notice. Mr. John Kofi explains to me how.
We've penciled them green, yellow, and red. Right now, the green people are in the market. They will spend about a week. They will go to open floor, and the red will come. It will get to a turn of the yellow group. So we are doing this track system in order to ensure the social distancing protocol to avert this pandemic in this municipality.
From the Techiman Central Market here in the Bono East region, I am Anas Sabit for JoyNews. It's been 2.
Let's stay in the Bono region because the first person to test positive of coronavirus in the Bono region is a Togolese national who entered the country illegally. The regional minister has revealed this forms part of the 372 new cases that brought the country to a tally of 3,091 as announced by the Ghana Health Service on Thursday. My colleague Anas Sabit joins us on the line with more on this. Anas, I also have the immigration immigration. We understand that the immigration is working on this, and but tell us how people are reacting to the first case recorded in the region.
Well, this case, this first case has come as a surprise to a lot of the people we have been interacting with since last night, and to them it is shocking because all this while the region has engaged the people on ways they could prevent themselves and then ensure that we do not record a single case in this part of the region. However, activities in the regional capital and other parts of the region from our sources are ongoing. I mean, things are normal. People are embarking on their normal activities. With the exception that I see a lot of people now using the nose mask compared to the previous day. So it's shocking that people are still embarking on their trading activities as usual since the outbreak of this particular case here.
And we understand that this new case was recorded in the German North District of the region. Tell us about the area, how the geography is like and the demographics in terms of the people that live there. Do you have a lot of foreigners trying to come in there from our neighboring countries?
Yeah, you know, the Bono region shares border with La Côte d'Ivoire and the German North District with Pampa as the district capital has a border post which is connecting Ghana and Côte d'Ivoire to Sokou, which is the next community in La Côte d'Ivoire. And of course, a lot of the people who are living in German North, precisely Pampa, have other businesses they do in the neighboring region, which is Ontugu in the Ivory Coast. So there's an influx of people every now and then. But since the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic, the immigration officials within this route have intensified their patrols to ensure that people do not get into the country from Côte d'Ivoire. But like we know, in most border towns, there are a lot of unapproved routes, and this Togolese national also got into the German North District. We are told used one of these unapproved routes into the country. So German North has been an area where a lot of foreigners get in and out of the Bono region almost on a daily basis.
Elsewhere, we've been told by the Immigration Service that the local people are assisting these foreigners to get into the country illegally. What can you say about the German area where you have a border linking us to, a post actually linking us to Côte d'Ivoire?
I cannot say same here. For what I know with German North, there are several unapproved routes, like I said, and the distance is quite close. And so people who are living in the other side of the border get into the district by themselves, as in whether they are being aided by the local people in the German North. That I cannot say much about. Better, like most border towns, this is quite common with the influx of people in and out of state areas.
We understand that this individual did not come in alone. He was in the company of other people. Do you know if they are in police custody, where they are being held, whether they are also being tested? Do you have any information on that?
Yes, from the briefing that was carried out by the regional health director this morning, we know the person who has been declared positive is a 27-year-old Togolese man who entered into the country through the German North District together with 9 others, and we are told they were apprehended along the route somewhere in April, in the last week of April, by the personnel of the Ghana Immigration Service. The test results was received on the May 6th, that was 2 days ago, confirming that one of them is positive. We are still waiting for the results of the other illegal immigrants who got into the country with them. They are currently with the security services that since their arrest they were quarantined, and we are waiting for their results to see if they are also going to be positive or negative.
And as let's talk about the adherence to the protocols in terms of the wearing of the face masks, the social distancing, the market and everywhere else. What have you observed?
In Sunyani, for instance, I'm quite impressed with the issue of the wearing of the nose mask. In fact, it is more or less being enforced. People hardly use these people walking through the streets or onto the streets without them on. The city officials or authorities have been enforcing that. I see a lot of this hand washing kits also placed at vantage points and so on and so forth. But the problem, like I said earlier, has to do with the other districts or municipalities outside the regional capital. There are some areas, especially the farming communities like Jamanlo, for instance. Some of these protocols are being flouted every now and then from my sources on the ground. So largely, I would say I'm impressed, generally impressed with what is happening within the region. In fact, the people from the one are ensuring that we stay away from recording cases. So this, once again, is coming in as a surprise to most of the people here.
Weeks ago, when you spoke to the regional director, he did indicate that the region has always been in preparedness for any form of pandemic and that they've always dealt with cases like this, except that because this is a novel coronavirus, the handling might be quite different. At this briefing that happened this morning, did he give you a sense of, again, how prepared they are in terms of the structures, the centers for isolation to contain the further spread of the disease in the region?
In terms of their preparedness, even before we recorded this particular case here in the Bono region, the health officials, in partnership with the Regional Coordinating Council, have issued several steps that have been taken to ensure that in case there's a recorded case, they will be able to handle it professionally. So the issue of isolation centers or quarantine centers have all been put in place even before this case has been recorded. And the health directorates have also intensified its campaigns or its education to communities to accept or to ensure that even if there is a case, the issue of stigma or anything close to that will be handled properly. So for preparedness, authorities here in the region are up to the task from my observation, even before this case has been recorded.
For those who are defying the orders, especially in the marketplace, do you know of any arrests that have been made and the police preparing some of these people for court?
In fact, in the early moments when the Ghana Health Service at the national level indicated that the use of nose masks is one of the surest ways we could stay away from this pandemic, the authorities in the Bono region, together with the security forces, the military, and then the police, got into town and then started, enforcing that. So people will be running away when they see the police or the military, and since then, it is being, absorbed by the people. They are now embracing it, and they are doing it willingly without being enforced or being forced to do so. So from that, I have not come across people being arrested. I have seen people who were being chased away because they were not on their nose mask. And since then, the attitude towards the wearing of the nose mask have changed completely here in the Bono region.
Anas, thank you very much for bringing us up to speed on that first case recorded in the Bono region. That Bono region has recorded its first case, and let's go on to the phone lines again and speak to the health director for the region, and he joins us. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us, Dr. Kofisa.
Hello.
Hello, Doc. Thank you very much for your time here on Newsdesk.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Can you tell us about this first case and circumstances surrounding the arrest and initial testing and then subsequent confirmation of the case?
Yeah, late April, I think the last week of April, the Ghana Immigration Service informed us they had arrested 10 people who had come into Ghana through unapproved routes through the German North district of the Bono region. And definitely they were handed over to the police and they were to be prosecuted. So they sent them to the court, and the court remanded them, I think, for a number of days. But then the immigration came with the request that in remanding them, they wanted to actually let us have their COVID-19 status. So we took the 10 samples from them and then sent them to the Kumasi Center for Laboratory Research. The results came back to us on the 6th of May, and out of the 10, 1 sample tested positive for the disease. So
you're saying that apart from this one, the 9 others are free of COVID-19?
Yes, all the results came, the 9 others where their samples were negative.
Okay, so let's talk about contact tracing.
Yes.
For the people who might have come into contact with this person, the immigration officers, the police officers, have you started that already? And are some people in isolation already?
Yeah, you know, I think we received the result through email on the 5th in the morning. So we immediately went to the district. We sent the result to a district, and you know, each district is divided into sub-districts. So all the sub-district teams have contact tracing teams. They came together and started work on trying to actually identify the contact. Now the district team went to support them, and the regional team also went to support them. So we have been there on the 5th and yesterday, and so far we've been able to trace 78. We have been able to identify 78 contacts. 61 of these are in the German North District in the Sampa area. 17 of them are in Brekum. For the fact that, you know, they had been brought to Brekum to court on 2 occasions. So that then makes it 78 contacts. The team is gone back again because we have to make sure that we are able to identify all the contacts, both those who interacted with the group for a very long time and casual, such that we don't leave anything to chance.
Are you considering enhanced testing or mass testing, for want of a better word, for the German area?
Each district is doing enhanced surveillance and testing.
Okay.
So that stands aside, apart from these 10 whose sample, 1 sample tested positive. But all the enhanced surveillance samples we sent so far, as well as when we received them, they were all negative.
I can imagine that this person is already at a treatment center. How many treatment centers do you have, and what is the capacity?
We have 3 treatment centers, one in Brekum, the second is in Wenchi, and the third is in Sunyani.
And they can take up to how many patients, if unfortunate? How many? What is the capacity of these centers?
On the average, they have about 12 beds. Well, one has 16 beds, one has 12 beds, and one has about 8 beds. So on the average, if you add, it goes about 12 or 10 or 12 beds each.
So now you have a first case. Will that change your strategy as far as education is concerned?
Yeah, definitely. Our strategy normally would change. First, before the first case, well, you know, people would then concentrate on signs and symptoms and everything of the disease. But now that we have had a case, we then have to actually build on the competencies of why people should wear face masks, why they should social distance, why they should wash their hands, and to be able to make sure that surveillance and then detection and reporting, and to be able to also make sure that people are forthright in providing us with information and targeting the high risk, those who, like if you take long distance truck drivers, the market women, the health workers, and of course the security personnel. This is something in which the messages have to be targeted more towards social behavior and behavioral change communication. rather than just concentrating hitherto on the signs and symptoms of the disease.
Where are you doing your testing? Is it at the KCCR or you are going up north?
KCCR.
Very well. From where you sit, what has been the compliance level so far in the region as far as the protocols are concerned?
As far as which protocols?
The social distancing protocols, the washing of the hands, wearing of the face mask, which has become mandatory now. Do you see compliance?
Yes. It's picking up. As you move towards the rural areas, we still have quite a bit of work to do to be able to make sure everybody complies. But as you find people moving into the more densely populated areas, you would see people with face masks and trying to do hand washing and then also socially distance. You would have one or two breaches here and there where people would normally correct them. The problem is with the face mask because people keep moving the face mask to the chin, to the forehead, touching them, and a whole lot of things. So the past few days have been to able to tell people the do's and don'ts of wearing face masks. So in the more urbanized areas, people are catching up on what do they call it? They're wearing the mask and then the hand washing and all that. We have gotten the regional response team to try to do a very fast evaluation and assessment to be able to give us quite definite data as to what the gaps are to be able to make sure that we improve on the behavior change communication.
Dr. Kofi Issa, thank you very much for your time here on Newsdesk. And that's the Bono Regional Health Director. He spoke to us as the region has recorded its first case. So please stay safe. Don't try weed. It is no proven cure of COVID-19. And we'll be bringing you more on this. Just stay with us here on the JoyNews channel. Let's do some other stories now. Labor consultant Austin Gambe is urging employees who may be affected by layoffs due to the COVID-19 to engage the employers instead of opting for the path of litigation. Now, this, he says, may afford for mutual settlement rather than a winner or a loser situation. He spoke on the AM show.
Some of the businesses is not because the employers decide to close down. The disruption that came forced them out of business. In other countries, people are filing insolvencies. Here, we are not too much associated with insolvency. Often because of collective agreement-based type of job that we do, we tend to talk about severance and therefore demanding redundancy pay. But this is not in that domain. This is a disruption that confronted employers, and everybody have to escape for his life. We are now accounting for those who have either died or have suffered mentally in such a way that they may not even want to even go back to their jobs. In the interim, what can be done is for those who have unions, the unions and the employers will have to sit together, have a conversation, not argument, not debate, be able to reach some agreement that will satisfy both parties. You have a half glass full of water, you half glass of water, you take it instead of looking for the full glass. That is what it is now. And I'm praying that normalcy, the new normalcy, will be a real normalcy. And we must also have a long-term plan that these businesses will not return to even the new normalcy in the next 3 months or 6 months. It's a long haul. It will take about 1 year for things to come back to some level of normalcy. And so people must brave themselves for it. Unions must learn to re-engage and have this kind of conversation. Employers must learn to be a little bit sober and reflect over the issues and have empathy with their workers, and together they would have, some will have to wait to be assured of job security until the business is bounce to normalcy. Let me restate that any business without customers is no business. Therefore, North America, the mainland of the U.S., Europe, where people come to our country to do business with us, if they are not going to open their borders, and if they are not going to be willing to travel, because we now have to know that many of our customers are even dead. And therefore, we have to open up for a brand new understanding. It's a paradigm shift in its complete sense.
Is there would you advise litigation at this time?
It's to be tragic for you to waste your energy going into litigation. It's about conversation. It's about having mediators or facilitators and people like my friend and brother, Mr. Anand, to have that engagement, to have that conversation, to be able to find a solution that satisfies both sides. If you go to court, you will have a winner-loser kind of situation on your hand. And losers, some of them will never talk to each other again. Some of them will never relate again. So this is a time for a facilitated type of mediation and negotiation in an interest-based approach, not the traditional adversarial approach, take it or leave it.
It's been 4 months since JoyNews and all multimedia group platforms started the Arrive Alive campaign to help reduce road traffic accidents through road safety education. The campaign has been welcomed not only by government, but civil society groups, corporate Ghana, and individuals. For Central Regional Minister Kwame Duncan, the Arrive Alive campaign could be the trump card to curb the many road traffic accidents in Ghana, which claim over 2,000 lives annually. In the first quarter of this year, 595 people have already been killed. While applauding JoyNews for this initiative, which is already making strides, Mr. Duncan believes with a multimedia group championing the campaign, it will surely achieve its set goal.
And I've had opportunity to watch a few of your docus that you've done, persons who have been affected by the loss of their dear ones. And I recall, I think in the 90s, where 3 eminent surgeons, urologists, who together lost their lives on the Accra-Kumasi highway.
Around Linda Door.
Exactly. And the wife, one of the wives, I'm told, that the tragedy simply did not even make her continue to even have any more husband. And I also listened to the children, all of it captured in the docu, the impact that it had on him and had on siblings and the family as a whole. To tell yourself that I have a business to transact and having free mind, free heart, I'm traveling across our route, across our towns, get to my destination and carry out a business, a transaction, and come back only for information to get back to the house that this is what has happened.
You didn't arrive alive
at all. It's one that comes with a certain level of devastation. Devastation. And Kwame, I want to pat you in particular on the back, and then your media conglomerate. Here I'm talking about the Joy Group.
Multimedia Group Limited,
There's a certain characterization with Joy FM and the Multimedia Group. You don't give up, and eventually you achieve results. And that's what I'm seeing. In my small thinking, that this Arrive Alive thing, after Dompuase, others have happened. Ketakrache has come up. Even my own stretch, You had church group from, I think, Fiokuma or Kwesiminti.
Yes, who were involved in the accident.
Yes. Here. And on the spot, 5 or so, or 6 or 7 died.
Yeah.
After the Dokwasi one. And you were the ones who reported.
Yes.
Ketekachi came, you reported.
Yes.
Kumasi came, you reported.
Interpol has come.
And all of these, I said, so Joy, they're not going to give up. But rather strangely, not strangely because that's your character, that even when it is happening, you don't get disillusioned, you don't get despaired, that you still even elevate it. And that gladdens my heart. I want to pat all of you in this campaign, pat you on the back and pat Multimedia on the back. But I want to use this forum, this opportunity, to call on our citizens, to call on leadership of various sections of our society. Because if you are a reverend minister and the people are perishing, yes, yours is that you give them salvation. But probably if they had lived longer, they would have heard the word and they would have changed their ways.
That's right.
And received salvation.
That's right.
But it didn't happen. They lost their lives.
Yeah.
So it must be your headache. It must be your concern. And so I want to use this platform, big platform that you have given to me, that please, let's coalesce our minds on this. Let us join our strengths and forces together. The people who are driving and are dying, they are
one of us.
Church members, they are political party members, they come from certain traditional areas. They are us. They are us. And so we must join and act and break the back of this coronavirus on our roads.
You're watching News Next with me, Anas Mini. We're taking a break. When we return, we'll bring you business where GCNet is refusing to hand over important data to government and the operators of the port management system, Unipass. Stay with us for details.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. We have new information on the Unipass saga. It has emerged that Kupia, the operators of Unipass, were contracted by government to undertake an audit of GCNet and West Blue Consulting, the company's managing port clearance then. Although GCNet during the audit did not provide their data dictionary and infrastructure plan to Kupia, the report issued by Unipass recommended a total change in the port's management system. Kawasaki, who is the deputy general manager of GCNet, has been explaining to Joy Business why they would not hand over their data dictionary and source codes even to government.
Some of the stuff you're looking for, data dictionary. On what basis should I give data dictionary, which is like the blueprint of my database, to you? How do you give network architecture to you? You know, those are things that you can't give out to anybody because they are proprietary stuff. Those are stuff that make your system work. You know, so we couldn't give that to them. From my perspective, the stuff they wrote in the report were flawed. They wrote many stuff. Later on, we got to see some of the reports because a lot of the things that they talked about, actually, and to date, sometimes we hear those things, were not true.
What did they exactly talk about that you were against?
So they talked about the fact that the ministries, departments, and agencies were not issuing permits electronically, which is not true. They talked about the fact that the system did not support paperless functionality, which is clearly not true.
We saw paperless being implemented by the vice president. I mean, the big fanfare, the talk about let's go paperless.
Yeah, but then
did it exist before then?
Yes, it did. Paperless had been implemented in Takrade way back in 2012, 2011, 2012, I think. The system was designed to be paperless right from day one. What you needed to do was somebody to champion paperless, to get people to change their way of doing business. But the system has been designed to be paperless right from day one. And so what the vice president did was basically to say, look, we have all these systems, and which is what a project champion does. Say, look, I'm going to harness the technology we've deployed, make sure it works. And that's what the vice president did. And so we didn't change any systems. No, we didn't change any systems. All we did was to be able to make sure that what the vice president did, we forced people to do it. It's as simple as that.
Now, Head of Corporate Affairs and Brand Management at Standard Chartered Bank, Isidua Adai, says the bank has made plans to cushion companies and other customers who owe them to repay loans during this pandemic period. She told Joy Business that despite the challenging times, their customers will be catered for.
Standard Chartered Bank donated personal protective equipment to frontline health workers at the Ga East District Hospital towards the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. The bank donated 320 N95 nose masks, 200 gloves, and 200 overalls. Head of Corporate Affairs and Brand Management, Isidua Adai, says the donation is part of 1 million Ghana cedis the bank has set aside to support health workers across the country.
Okay, so at Standard Chartered, last month we had committed 1 million Ghana cedis towards the fight of COVID-19 in Ghana. And what we said was that this 1 million was supposed to go to support the fight and was supposed to do a lot of things. One of it was to support the government in its agenda for widespread testing. Second was actually to support frontline care workers. And what we are doing is to buy personal protective equipment for all frontline workers across several hospitals in the country. Today being May Day, we've set today aside to be able to celebrate these frontline healthcare workers who have actually dedicated their time and their passion in the fight against this pandemic.
The medical superintendent, Dr. Ebenezer Odro-Mensah, who received the items on behalf of the hospital, was happy with the support from the bank.
Of course, the clients for whom we are here appreciate this kind gesture. Today is a day for workers, and you've brought in exactly what we need as workers to protect ourselves from contracting COVID-19. You've brought N95 face masks to protect us. You've brought coveralls we wear. You've brought gloves as well. Really appreciate this because these are items we use every day, and we tend to run out of it very quickly. Okay, so it's great for us when we get companies bringing them in to replenish our stocks.
Fred Duho's report for Joy Business.
The government has asked financial institutions to give moratorium for servicing of loans for businesses affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Not all of them have started. Some small and medium enterprises are compelled under the circumstances to use their trading capital to service loans at the expense of growth and expansion. Chief Executive of Amenfiman Rural Bank, Dr. Alex Asma, is urging financial institutions to find innovative ways to support clients as the bank reduces interest rates by 2%. There's more in this report by Prince Apia.
The impact of the coronavirus continues to weigh on the many businesses, especially in the informal sector. Small and micro enterprises are going through cash flow challenges because people are focusing more on essential commodities for domestic use. With a chunk of its clients in the informal sector, Amenfiman Rural Bank has reduced its interest rate by 2% on business and other loans. Chief Executive Dr. Alex Asma has been speaking to Love Business.
Our assessment of the situation is that we should be able to support each business owner to go through these challenges and come back strong, keeping their businesses. All new loans that we are granting for commercial customers are going down, the interest rate is going down by 200 basis points or 2%. For those who are taking salaries from us and also using their salaries to take loans, what we call the salary loans, are also going down. The interest rate is cut by 1.5%. All of these interventions put together, we believe, will be able to support small business owners to be able to manage themselves and cope with the shocks and the challenges that COVID-19 has brought to all of us.
Government's appeal to financial institutions for moratorium on servicing loans is yet to receive response from many of the banks, so most MSMEs are compelled to pay their loans with their trading capital. Dr. Asma explains the expected impact of the bank's intervention on business and social life of beneficiaries.
So if any of these customers have difficulties generating cash flow at this time and they want us to give them a bit of relief or a holiday to be able to turn around their cash and generate cash flow to support their loan repayment, they have up to 3 months to be able to do that. The second thing is that some of them are generating cash flows, but it's not adequate to meet their monthly installment. and we don't want to put so much pressure on them to use their capital, the trading capital, to pay loans. So we are also replanning their loans to give them smaller installments to pay at this time. So for all our customers who are already having loans and for some reasons they require additional funding to be able to do some more, especially those who are trading in the essential commodities, we are ready to fund them and give them more capital.
Prince Apia reporting.
And that's all in business. Sports is up next.